friends, hello, how's it going, what's up? I come to you Thursday, January 2nd of 2025 in my uncle's closet in Columbus. Yes, I am still on vacation, they call it, seeing family for the holidays. Can't wait to be home. I got to get out of Columbus before the snowstorm hits. So, today in the market, interesting day, but I think this is a super duper time to really hone in on some deals right now. So keep it just a narrow thought here, conversation of stocks here. I just want to talk about Sofi and I want to talk about BigBear, and obviously Palantir is going to come up in that conversation, but more focus on BigBear here. These are completely two different stocks, two different companies, but they are an interesting different plays here into 2025. So starting with Sofi, let's start with Sofi here, where we can roundabout, kind of talk about what we're seeing here. Sofi, this is the most sell-off Sofi has had since November here. Okay, so in November we saw sell-off. We saw Sofi go to a 1340, and that was the lowest it hit, and then it shot back up into that 14, 15, 16, 17 just weeks ago range. Now Sofi has sold off to this, we're still above $14, pretty good. Still one day left in the market here, so we'll see what happens. Now this is still not, this isn't a situation where I don't think a lot of people are confused. There's two different stories that could be said here right now with what's happening. Obviously, it's the new year. We're still in some sell-off. And January in general never brings great numbers, okay? It just doesn't. But what is about to happen? Well, Trump's about to take office. And no matter what, whenever there's a new gun, when there's new guns rolling in here into the office, the market's going to do well. That the week before, after, and bleed into the February here. But with that, a lot of movement that we've seen priced into the market here the past 2 months before Jerome Powell opened his big mouth here and kind of made a lot of people scared about the lack of rate cuts we're going to have here in 2025. The market was rolling, okay, and I think the market's going to continue to roll here. Now, obviously, that's where the conversation gets, everyone starts hitting their gavel and they start yelling at each other, because there's a lot of people that think 2025 is going to bring doom and gloom, and a lot of this goes right into politics, and I hate to say it. And obviously, there's people that love Trump, there's people that hate Trump. I'm not here trying to talk about politics whatsoever, but it's obviously kind of hard not for it to sound like that. I get that. So with that, the market has shown that it's excited about Trump. Now, obviously, people are scared about these tariffs. What's going to happen? We don't know at this point, okay? But what I do know and what I can see is that the market was excited about Trump. And obviously, the only little setback that we've seen so far right now is Jerome talking, okay? Now, with Jerome, when he came out here 3 weeks ago at this point, and said, hey, we're not going to do as many rate cuts, the market, reacted to that, and it said, okay, we're going to sell off a little bit, and we're going to sell off a little more, we're going to sell off a little more. But Jerome Powell did say, hey, I'm expecting 2025 to be a banging year for the market. We're doing good here. Now, obviously, too, with that, the market, what has been reacting good here, even on bad news, because job reports been bad, inflation going back up steadily, consumer spending, So the thing is right now is that the market only showed fear when Jerome Powell came out and said, hey, we're not going to do as many rate cuts right now. Now, could they change that? Sure, they can do whatever they want. They're the Feds. They control the steering wheel of how things move here. So I'm very realistic that something could change here. Now, why is that so important? The rate cut situation is important because Sofi likes rate cuts. Sofi is a bank. At the end of the day, Sofi is a bank. That's pretty much what it's bread and butter of what it's moving on right now. That's what's really the driving force behind it right now. Okay, good, great, grand. We like that. Okay, so with that, what are we about to walk into here? I believe right now we are in a pump fake. a backwards one, essentially. Right now, we're seeing SoFi being sold off, and it's scaring people. It should not scare you. It should do the opposite. You should look at SoFi right now as this opportunity. Now, listen, when we look at the past here with SoFi when it comes to earnings, SoFi has, for the past over a year now, has executed all of their earnings. All of the earnings. And the last one just happened to be the mother of them all, earnings, okay? On their earnings, on how many people they had open new bank accounts with them, and these things. And what's so interesting, when SoFi gets a new, it gets a new customer, they open up a bank account. Then what do? Some of them might take loans. They might get a car loan. They might get a house loan, personal loan, business loan, student, whatever. It's just a thing that is increasing the revenue of SoFi. That's why SoFi, probably for the next 5 years at least, is going to be in a lot of growing stage where they're at, because they're getting really big. And obviously I'm biased with SoFi. Okay, I love SoFi. I'm a customer of SoFi. I think they're phenomenal. I really do mean that, because I have other banks that I have banked with. I do bank with, but SoFi, I'm not even trying to talk I don't work for the company, but if you don't have an account with SoFi and you are an investor with SoFi, you probably should just make an account. It's free, and you'll see why it's getting so popular. It will help you understand why SoFi is so popular, because it's just so amazing what they give you with a portfolio as a customer. I mean, the account, you can do everything. You can buy stocks, you can loans, credit cards. I mean, it's all right there. It's very unique what they do, and that's why it's grabbing the attention of a lot of the younger generation. But what is that younger generation going to do here into the future? Well, they're going to need houses. They're going to need cars. They're going to start businesses. They're going to need money. They're going to need money from SoFi. They're going to give money to SoFi. They're going to pay loans. They're going to pay interest. They're going to pay late fees, and that all goes right into the earnings of SoFi. So with that, what do we have coming here in January? Well, things that we can bank on is that Trump is coming into office, new president, so the market's going to run. It's going to get hype. It's going to be FOMO. It's going to run. SoFi undoubtedly is going to go back to $15 to $16 easily. Then here at the end of January here, we're going to wrap up 2024 quarterlies with SoFi. Now, what could that possibly mean? Well, more than likely, SoFi is going to hit those earnings. We expect it. It's almost darn near guaranteed at this point. Excuse me. Yeah, it's my Southern coming out. It's guaranteed at this point. Okay. With that, what if SoFi even has a bigger earnings than what they just had for the Q3? What if Q4 is bigger than Q3? We saw what movement SoFi had here just on Q3. It had a $5 movement. So if these next earnings come out to where they're just like, oh my God, what do you think that's going to do? It's going to throw SoFi into a new range where it's going to probably move to a $17 to $18 range. And then just on FOMO and hype, it's going to probably move to a $20. This is probably what we're going to see here in 2025, as long as SoFi keeps hitting these earnings. And obviously, they need to hit big earnings, okay? We want them to meet expectations, but more. Expectations, that's good, but we want them to beat expectations. I guess I should say, we know they're going to meet expectations, but we want them to beat expectations, okay? So what is that going to do? That's going to constantly keep pricing up SoFi to the next earnings, where it's just getting really growing at a very fast rate. Essentially, what we're seeing over in Palantir land, that's what we want to see in SoFi land, where we just see these earnings coming out where investors are trying to buy as much SoFi as they can, but trying to catch up to what earnings are bringing to the table here, where it's just the price is increasing so fast to where investors are like, oh my God, I should have bought when it was 14. I should have bought when it went down to 13. I should have bought when it was at 15. So SoFi undoubtedly will be in that conversation here. I think it's going to be a banging year here for SoFi in 2025. So friends, essentially, listen, what I'm trying to say here, just because we're having sell-off now with SoFi, this doesn't mean that something's gone bad. It doesn't mean that. Okay, it just means we're having sell-off. You can look it up. There's a bunch of analysts, that are giving their predictions of what they think the price should be of SoFi, all this kind of stuff, and they always price it in lower than what the price is. A lot of them are coming out and say SoFi should be at $12 to $14 range, and that's why we've seen some sell-off here in SoFi. But obviously, SoFi is going to move back up to $15 to $16 on a really good day here. It's going to hit that. What we're really interested is, what are these next earnings going to look like? Are they going to be just blow your socks off? They possibly could be, and that's where people are going to mess up because, SoFi is going to get even more expensive. It wasn't too long ago where we were buying SoFi at $6 to $7. Remember that? That wasn't that long ago. It was just, back in the summer here, that's where we were buying SoFi. Now look at it. All right, BigBear. Now, obviously, BigBear, different conversation. And I don't want to sound like a broken record here with BigBear, but kind of, talking a little different here about BigBear. A lot of people, obviously, you got C3, you got Palantir, and then you got BigBear, and they kind of do somewhat of essentially the same kind of business when it comes to AI, tech, whatever you want to say here. But sticking just to Palantir as a reference, I think just making it simple and sweet here. The market cap when we look at BigBear, it's only 1 billion, a little over 1 billion. Okay, so obviously we got little baby bear here, BigBear, is just crawling around looking for some attention. It's got some growing up to do. But the funny part is it's an older company. And then you got Palantir over here, who's just like killing it. I mean, just like grown up, lifting everything. I mean, just completely blowing expectations, competition, and it is running. So with that right now, Palantir, 171 billion, in 21 million, that's a huge market cap, okay? Completely different revenues right there when we talk about. Now, am I saying BigBear is going to be the next Palantir? Not whatsoever. There's no evidence to show that. And obviously, do we want that? Absolutely. And let me say this before, if you're new to me yapping here about BigBear, I have money in BigBear. Okay, so I'm not here talking bad about it. But I do think even if you invest in something and take a chance of something, you need to bring a double-edged sword with everything. Even Palantir. If Palantir comes out with bad quarterlies here next, we really want to assess that and break that down. Are we expecting that? Not whatsoever, especially with all these deals that we've seen come in. BigBear, why BigBear is getting attention now is because BigBear has been a grabbing attention. It's been grabbing attention from investors with some deals that it's been getting. This particular sector of AI right now, when it comes to C3, Palantir, BigBear, it's getting attention. As we go into 2025 here, there's a lot of hype around tech in general, tech stocks. Quantum computing, obviously, it is just getting it's wild. It's absolutely wild. And I say it's wild because I made a video days ago or something, I can't remember at this point, we're talking about quantum computing stocks. And obviously, I think there's going to be a lot that'll stick to the wall, and there's some that'll just fall off. Okay, most of them, they've never even met their quarterlies, okay? And I don't say that to be mean or harsh towards them or in people that invest in them, okay? I just say that they're hyped up right now. And they should be because, these other big AI stocks are talking about them. They're talking about quantum computing and, so, and a lot of them are getting some pretty attractive deals. But, there's a lot of them. When it comes to quantum computing, we're just going to see which ones actually start to make some revenue. And what do they do with the money too? That's a big thing too. Where are they putting the money? Now, BigBear here, trying to stay on track here with BigBear. Bullet points, bad bullet points that I should say with BigBear. Yes, they're not meeting. They have never, not never, but lately, to where it would grab your attention. They're not meeting earnings. They're not doing well this year, okay? What we're focused on right now with BigBear, what I'm focused on, is that the past 2 months have been a little different with Big Bear, with deals, with investor attention, where you're starting to see a situation that could be unfolding here right now with Big Bear, where it's getting attention to where hype might continue to push it, like we're seeing these quantum computing stocks. Some of these quantum computing stocks are going to outrageous numbers compared to what the earnings revenue is with these stocks. It's wild. Now, Big Bear, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not expecting Big Bear to go past $5 to $6 here anytime soon, unless these next quarterlies come out to where they're going to like beat expectations or meet expectations. I'm not expecting Big Bear to have like make me a millionaire this year. Not whatsoever am I expecting that. All I simply want this year from Big Bear, and I'll be honest with you, like there's some things I invest in that I just don't even talk about on here because I don't want to throw attention to them. Okay, but I have to find things to yap my mouth about, so I'm talking about Big Bear. With Big Bear here, it is a situation where all I'm trying to do right now, I'm trying to find a stock, an interesting company that is in a very interesting department. It happens to be this tech department. Palantir happens to be somewhat of a little, a rival, even though it's, they're not going to catch up to Palantir anytime soon unless they were to get some kind of, huge, unbelievable government contract, which still would not even do anything to them getting close to Palantir. But, all I want this year out of Big Bear is for them to get at least 3/4 of their debt paid down. I don't know that they'll do it. I would like to see them get a few big more government contracts. And maybe we could see their market cap have a nice increase here in 2025. And the stock remain at least $5 to $7 range. I would be happy as a pig in mud because I've been here making a position since, $2, $3. And if it falls down to $3, I'll probably put some more money in Big Bear here, because I'm not expecting much at the moment. But it's just a thing that I'm building up here. So I think and I say that because I think there's a lot of us that are doing that with Big Bear right now. We're taking a chance, and we're taking a big chance on it. And this is why I know, you guys get mad at me when I say this about Big Bear. But I have to be honest with you. This is not a company, like if you were to show like somebody that knew how to invest and that was in the market and took it seriously, and you're like, yeah, I'm investing in Big Bear, and they're like, Big Bear what? That BigBear.ai, and they knew Big Bear, the company itself, and they knew the earnings and whatnot, they'd be like, dude, you're crazy. You would probably have to back it up with why you're doing it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking a chance. I don't listen. This is how you do things if you're trying to, get somewhere. You take chances, and that's what I'm doing here with Big Bear. I'm hoping and I'm assuming that what Big Bear offers will become even more popular in the tech field, and with, customers needing what they offer. And they maybe in the next 5 years, they'll start giving Palantir some trouble, C3 some trouble, where like, hey, we got a little bit of competition here. Is that going to happen? I don't know. But I'm taking a risk. I'm taking a chance here. Listen, if you're in the market for any time, everyone does this. There's when you hear about people like, hey, yeah, I put money in this medical stock and it blew up. There's people that become rich in stocks that aren't showing good earnings or anything all the time, but then, hey, they get a few deals. They hit a good earning period. Hey, stock starts to move up. Hey, hey, we're still getting deals. Hey, but. So this is what I'm moving on. I'm moving on that there's some little breadcrumbs here that I'm picking up that 2025 might be a good year for Big Bear. It's hard to present evidence about it. I get it. I know. And this is why I'm so harsh on it with people. I don't. Should you buy Big Bear just because I'm yapping my mouth about it? No, you shouldn't. Now, if you're someone who likes risk and you like chance, and you're just throwing money here or there, maybe something will stick. I mean, who am I to talk you out of it? But this is what I'm doing. So, do I like Big Bear? Yes, I like Big Bear, and I'm gonna see what Big Bear does this year. and that's really the only thing I can do. Friends, listen, I want to wish you all the luck in the world. We still got Friday here to end out the week of the new year. And listen, it's only a matter of time for this market really starts to pick up. We're going to see some pickup in the market here very soon, I guarantee you. And make sure you don't get priced out here. Make sure you don't get priced out here because the market's going to get a little expensive here probably pretty soon here with what's about to happen. Now, what February brings, I don't know. We'll see. But either way, if you're putting your money in good, healthy stocks, companies, you're going to do fine. So with that, I'm going to go watch Ghostbusters, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.